So apparently CoComelon has a hidden dark side. I have no idea. I have no idea how that's possible, but we're gonna watch this video by SunnyV2 called CoComelon, the most evil channel on YouTube. Let's check it out.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch CoComelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The CoComelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing developmental issues amongst the kids who can't stop watching.
I don't have kids, so I don't really know much about CoComelon other than it's some educational TV show for kids. It's just like a fun, stupid little show. 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. Is that kids who watch CoComelon, or is that just kids in general these days? I'm gonna be really skeptical about this because this is like a really bold claim to say that this is evil.
Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive. Firstly, there's the colors. Take for example the wheels on the bus.
Okay. Something being addictive doesn't necessarily make it bad. You know, something being addictive in an unhealthy way makes it bad. You could say, yeah, they're going out of their way to make this addictive, but you can also say, wow, they're doing a good job of keeping my kid's attention, which is what a show's supposed to do. A kid's not going to learn if a show's not addictive because they won't hold attention, right?
The 3 main colors, blue, green, and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter, no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic, and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines. CoComelon puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors
That green doesn't look like it matches this green though.
instead blend together. CoComelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views. A child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. CoComelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way CoComelon does. The second it's on the TV, he turns into a toddler zombie who doesn't see or hear anything else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by CoComelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational, I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention.
Okay.
CoComelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas, or get in bed. The education is that he eventually agrees to do so, yet a TikTok user was critical, stating, anytime I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no, no, no. He's sitting there watching CoComelon, which taught him no, 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 and to say no to me.
Okay, that's true. That might be too complicated for a small child to understand. This, like, the beginning of the video, or the beginning 80% of the video is what you shouldn't do. If that's not very clear, then I understand this particularly being a bad video for kids to learn from.
On the topic of education, Jerica Sands stated, these people don't give a shit about our children. They care about money. That's it. Your child's cognitive development in direct exchange for their wealth, and there's pretty good evidence supporting this. A New York Times journalist visited CoComelon's studio, discovering their #1 focus is keeping children hooked. CoComelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer.
This is what anybody on social media should do when they look at their own data analytics.
Don't block celebrities you hate.
So here's one of my TikTok videos on one of my channels, and literally this is meant for you to analyze. So like if I play the TikTok, most viewers stop watching at 1 second.
Don't block celebrities you hate. I'm just...
See how what I did just there? That's after 4 seconds in, I created a visual hook. I changed it up. Every little thing I do is on purpose to make this graph better, right? The time, how long the video is. Every time I do a little cut,
digital marketing strategies.
there, that's a visual hook.
Let's say
Where
there's
this
a
font is,
celebrity that you
another
post
cut there. With the topic, everything is to retain attention. That's the only way something gets popular. This is literally just standard practice on all of social media. That's just completely standard. So there's nothing sinister going on there. Everybody does that. In fact, people will look at 100 videos and then look at that graph and say, okay, I'm only using a hook with this many words in it. I'm using a hook with 5 words instead of 7 words in it. Like, people go crazy over it. This is just standard practice.
Wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct. CoComelon has a dedicated Distractotron room in which once a month children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out.
This is the same thing as looking at analytics for me. Same exact thing.
Next to the TV playing CoComelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractotron, a note is jotted down. We can
That is
see what they're
advanced.
looking at and the exact moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal. Keeping kids' attention is, and this is proven by CoComelon's most addictive element, rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many times the frame changes on CoComelon. It's the same type of addicting behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge. It's the quick change of frame that releases that dopamine and makes the videos addicting to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikTok are the
Okay, just like Mr. Beast videos, he used to, if you watch old Mr. Beast videos, you could not go 3 seconds without the camera cutting. That's, again, standard practice, although sometimes that falls out of favor. When people get too used to that, then longer unedited videos like the one you're watching now might slowly become in favor.
Focus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts.
And to be fair, this video itself is doing the same exact thing. This video that I'm watching right now, he does the same thing.
The changes on My Little Pony.
See how that went up and now it's slowly moving because it's not stationary? That's just to hold attention.
Yeah, concluding there's about.
And then it instantly fades out and there's instantly words without even a second going by. This video itself is doing the same thing, standard practice.
6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to CoComelon.
And another cut there.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That Is CoComelon, Savantix draws a similar conclusion. She found that
And again, you could do the same thing, but with movement. So this channel doesn't cut as much, but this channel does movement. How many times is a graphic going to appear on the screen during this video itself that's not going to move? That's going to stay stationary. It's not. I know it's not the same thing because this isn't a channel for kids, but it's still, I just want you to be aware that this is completely standard practice, and this person himself is doing the same thing because it works.
96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds. She then compares 4 different animated shows, again finding CoComelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a CoComelon video was 6 seconds. The longest shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which, when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics. Dr. Kristen Summer explained that when showing an infant normal video content, they'll focus on the screen just 11% of the time. However, when the video is instead switched to CoComelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%. This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A CoComelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers, and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video. It was honestly kind of terrifying. YouTuber Saberspark shared his own personal anecdote. He asked to watch a Disney movie with his 2 younger cousins, who both completely refused, and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In CoComelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze eyes while watching it. You could be waving your hand right in front of his face and he wouldn't move. It was almost scary. This was also discovered by Sarah Mills 98, who explained when the CoComelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by himself. However, nothing shows the addiction better than the CoComelon TikTok trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly and video their kids sprinting toward the television, where you can witness their mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found some.
Wow. This might be a problem. This might be a problem with addictive behaviors with kids. I mean, you know, like there's iPad kids now. Kids always have the iPad on them. They're addicted to Roblox, and I didn't know CoComelon was so addictive for these kids. I mean, obviously they're doing everything right with the camera cuts and everything, but you have to think with toddlers, what kind of long-term effect will that have?
Something similar. The kid in the Distractotron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which ended the second he heard the CoComelon theme song.
If I had a kid, I'd 100% take advantage of this. If my kid's acting up, won't stop a tantrum, I'd play CoComelon, get him to stop. But then again, that's also like positive reinforcement for a negative behavior, so I don't know. Maybe it should go back to the strategy where TV time is like a gift. Like, you were good today, you get to watch TV, and not something that's always on.
It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said.
Okay, but to be fair, come on. If you're a parent, turn it off. Change the channel. You don't have to have your kids watch this, to be fair. But again, that's only if you're aware of the issue.
If they're having issues when they get here, once that CoComelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously, there's a reason for this. CoComelon is so hyper-stimulating that it actually acts as a drug, and what happens when you take the drug away. Young children experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, obviously leaving them completely dysregulated.
Okay, hold on. This is the same thing with adults. If you take away an adult's smartphone, they'll experience symptoms. They'll start looking for their phone even when they don't have it. They'll need to occupy something with their hands. This happens to everybody, not just kids. So far, the biggest problem is any show that's addicting will do this. Not specifically CoComelon. It just happens to be the one that cuts the frames the most and saturates the videos the most. Everything that you're supposed to do on, if you care about your YouTube channel.
TikTok user ThePoff1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 minutes after.
Go back 30 years, there's other things. You take away a kid's teddy bear, he'll be inconsolable for 15 minutes. That's completely normal.
Adding in the description, CoComelon Meltdown is legit. Once you have a taste of the cocoa, it's hard to break the addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse. My husband and I have been worried about our child. I can slowly see how she'd throw violent tantrums at home and in church whenever she'd get bored and would want to watch the show. Her behavior changes the moment she watches the show, and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these tantrums end, kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
There's a reason why we have to look at analytics the way we do now. It's because the TikTokification of quick scrolling videos, and I just want to watch a video for 9 seconds. If I'm instantly bored for even half a second, I'm scrolling right away. This happens with Gen Z a lot too. It's really crazy when this happens to kids.
Basically, CoComelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring in comparison.
However, the potential consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech. She has been watching these CoComelons or such other stuffs for 2 or 3 years. Hope we're not."
You probably should stop letting her watch it. You're the parent.
Too late. Over on Reddit, a speech.
This is like, you ever blame Nestle for making chocolate because it's unhealthy for kids, but then you keep buying it Turn the channel off, bro.
Language pathologist explained, screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but CoComelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora.
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is that we find that little one's language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel, this is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per day can make a toddler completely non-verbal.
No shit. You shouldn't be throwing your toddler in front of the TV watching 4 to 5 hours of basically TikTok, CoComelon every single day. Of course that's going to mess them up when they can't even talk yet.
4 to 5 hours is obviously a lot of time,
right?
But in CoComelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. These screen times might be even lower for CoComelon specifically because, as explained by Jerica Sands, not all screen time is created equal. A child who just watched 30 minutes of CoComelon and a child who just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like a very, very different child.
How?
Thankfully, here lies a simple solution.
How?
Sierra Renee explained, my 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to CoComelon. Switched to Miss Rachel 2 days ago, and he's already saying more words and hasn't had any tantrums.
Look at that, a parent taking some accountability. Well, wow, it's crazy how that just instantly works.
Kim.it shared an almost identical anecdote. My 8-month-old was obsessed with CoComelon and having bad tantrums, so I cancelled CoComelon and only let her watch Miss Rachel, and she said her first word within the first 3 days of watching. Clearly, parents are able to simply change the channel, but not before leaving CoComelon a massive amount of.
If you're a parent and you don't pay that much attention, maybe you have ADHD yourself, or maybe you're just not that smart, that's not necessarily your fault. What if you don't know that this caused your kid problems? You don't know what's causing it. Then how long are you going to let this go on? Because you don't know this is the problem.
Of dislikes. They've therefore earned the title the absurdly popular kids show parents hate, and CoComelon has actually responded to the criticism that explain our shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent to find the right and appropriate balance for their children. Our responsibility is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skills. It is worth adding that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how Moonbug content helps their children. CoComelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned the alphabet and numbers from CoComelon. She may not speak a complete sentence, but she expresses her wants through phrases. But is it CoComelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well,
No. But if you know that you're creating a product that has negative implications on your core audience, actually your core audience wouldn't be kids, it'd be parents. But if you know that your product is creating long-term problems, you have an ethical responsibility to fix that or to give a warning or something. You do have an ethical responsibility to dig deeper into this.
well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in to stop them from watching so much.
Both need to take responsibility, I think.
CoComelon is actually a really sad symbol of parents giving their children tablets instead of actually parenting and interacting with them. Ultimately, parents
Parenting
are
is
the
hard.
people who choose how much their child consumes.
I think it's time to watch an episode of CoComelon. Let's look at let's watch the CoComelon show and see how bad this is. Hold on. Can I go back? How many? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I jump in the bathtub, it's time to get all clean.
Well, there was 7 seconds right there of no cut.
Let's all stand up. Let's all stand up. And move around. And move around.
And clap our hands.
And clap our hands.
Look over
Let's all stand up. Let's all stand up.
Okay, so it's like Barney would do songs like this. Yeah, it seems more entertaining than it's just kids having fun singing. This looks more entertaining than educational.
The hill and far away, Mother Duck said, quack, 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 but only 2 little ducks came back.
So it's a counting song. It's just a standard nursery song. Just like there's a bunch of nursery songs that aren't educational. Like most of them actually aren't educational, although this one has numbers in it. It doesn't. This doesn't look that bad to me. I'm sorry.
One little.
Do you guys agree? Do you think that CoComelon should take responsibility for this? And if so, how much responsibility should they take? And what should CoComelon do? Do you think that they should turn down the saturation? And do you think that they have a responsibility to be more educational? And if so, how? Because what I just reviewed really quickly, it was just normal kids songs. Like nobody gets on Baby Shark about this. And a couple years ago, Baby Shark was the biggest thing. Parents hated it. Oh, my kid cries if Baby Shark's on. It's the same thing. I think there's always a thing. If you throw your kid in front of a tablet, personally, I think, okay, well, that's you doing that, right? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. How am I wrong? Okay, bye. Please subscribe. Bye.